Yes, it's going to be just about a fallout of that visit. Is it improved relations between Nigerians or Nigeria and South Africa or not?
Is it a question between, because what you said now just brought it out, is it again between Nigeria and South Africa or Nigerians and South Africans?
Same thing, bro.
No. It's not the same thing.
Oh, what's the difference?
You know what I mean, it doesn't look like it's the same thing. Well,
why
until
not?
now, it had to be elevated to presidential level. It was between Nigerians and South Africans. It didn't need to get to presidential
It was Nigeria.
level. Well, Nigeria is represented by the president.
Are we really doing this? Right? but you know, this is a meeting that has been months in the making, so it's understandable that
you know what I mean. That's okay. Look, well, the Nigerian is in South Africa and he's going to be talking to us. You know how much of, because it's what our expectation, our hope, is that this state visit of the president of Nigeria to the presidents of South Africa will bring back, will gain the traction that we're expecting and bring back desired effect and instill confidence in Nigerians in South Africa. How much of that has been achieved so far with the visit of the Nigerian president to South Africa?
Well, not just in South Africa, in Nigeria as well, because don't forget there was that spontaneous attacks. So the impression that Nigerians here or Nigerians everywhere have of South Africa equally comes into the scheme of things.
Yeah. So I think eventually it's like one and the same. I mean, the actions of both leaders will eventually trickle down,
hopefully,
for South Africans and Nigerians, which is why this meeting is really important. And, you know, that statement about where you're a Rom, behave like the Romans. So in this case, when you're in South Africa, behave, I'm just inferring that. I bet that will form part of the
let's
conversation.
take it to them.
You draw a line between the Rome and the Roman.
Well, let's take it to South Africa now. We've got Omarigi Ogboro, who is he's a legal practitioner and head of the Nigerian Union in South Africa. He joins us via Skype from Pretoria. Good morning, and thank you for joining us today. Give us, I mean, having seen these visits, some agreements were reached, as we're told. So how are Nigerians in South Africa internalizing the outcome of that visit?
Okay, morning, Chamberlain. I think I'm struggling a bit with the network, but I hope I got that
I hope so too.
Right. Because it's been difficult with the network here. But basically, if I heard you properly or heard you well, look, the major problem we're having now, it's first of all, we thank the Nigerian government. We appreciate the visits with the delegates, the president and the ministers and everyone. But the disgruntled victims, the victims that is affected with the xenophobia attack, were not given proper audience. They were not represented, you know, and the few bodies or professional bodies or the Nigerians that were in the town hall meetings were not able to pass the message across to our dignitaries from Nigeria. So I flew in yesterday. I'm busy consulting with the victims, and they're not happy. You know, they're not happy because the fact is, are we working towards a solution and the compensation legally? How are these victims? How will they be compensated? You know, so that was not addressed. You know, so I can't. We're not happy because a structure like Nigerian Union, who's been existing for almost 10 years in South Africa, and structures all over the provinces, and they've made all the arrangements with the affected victims, and we needed to, you know, sit with the government and say to the government, okay, how do we go about this compensation legally? And to work towards a deterrent, because this has happened now. Everywhere is fine, everywhere is going well, but what's the guarantee that this will not occur again? That's the fear we're having, and what's happening with the affected victims. So I don't know if I got your question right.
Okay, well, that's pretty much about it. But Mr. Ogboro, so what is this we hear about a certain compensation committee? I mean, if you say adequate attention was not paid to compensation, so What do we hear about this compensation committee that is said to have been set up between both countries? Is that not something you were looking forward to?
Committee, when the victims are not aware of this, how, who are the members of the committees? You understand? Who are the members of the committees? Except I'm not getting the facts straight.
So are you saying you were not adequately, brought into this, negotiations? Because we saw the president meeting with Nigerians in South Africa. So if you say that the people that were affected were not there, so who are the people that attended this meeting?
There were professional bodies, the medical doctors, the professional bodies here and there. They were not there. Chamberlain, we need to say things as it is. They were not represented. They were in there. I'm sitting with some of the victims, and we are still compiling the list of damaged items and their goods, and we're still trying to see how we get the support to get this done. So they weren't there. They weren't represented. Nigerian Union as a whole, Nigerian Union was not there. Nigerian Union was not in the town hall meeting.
So, Mr. Agboro, who have you been? Pardon me. So, who have you been speaking with? I mean,
the affected victims.
No, I'm saying on the Nigerian government side. Who have you been speaking with? If it appears as though nobody's listening to you.
On the Nigerian government side, I was in Abuja. I came back yesterday. I met with the president of Nigeria. We met with Abike Dabiri, and she agreed with us that we can go ahead. We can go orally go ahead with the compensation, but we've not had any follow up. We're yet to engage with her again. To see how we can represent proper representation of the affected Nigerians in this matter. And when we're talking about affected Nigerians, we're not only looking at this present incident. We are going way back 2015 to date, which till now, nothing has been done yet. So if a committee has been set up between Nigerian government and South African government, surprisingly, Nigerian Union, as the head of the legal desk of Nigerian Union, and in my personal capacity as an attorney, I'm not aware of that. I'm not.
Between the Nigerian Union and the Nigerian officials that are supposed to be representing Nigerians in South Africa, the relationship seems to be frosty. Are you saying that the visit of the president of Nigeria to South Africa wasn't in any way able to help to seal that communication?
I know there's a communication. To be honest with you, there's a communication breakdown between the both missions and Nigerian Union. There's a communication breakdown because from day one, Nigerian Union was not carried along in all those issues that has been on ground. With Nigerian Union, because I get instruction from Nigerian Union and a representative of the Nigerian Union, head of the legal desk, and there's just nothing. So I'm surprised, I'm shocked that Nigerian Union was not contacted and Nigerian Union was not on ground to assist. Because with Nigerian Union has been doing so much. And the affected victims have been contacting Nigerian Union direct.
Mr. Ogboro,
yes.
During your visit to Abuja, was there any representation of this communication breakdown made to Nigerian authorities? The communication breakdown you talked about between the Nigerian mission and the Nigerian Union. Was there any such representation made to the authorities in Abuja?
I think the president of Nigerian Union, Aditola has been doing that. I think he's been trying to reach the minister, and he had a good audience with the minister. But I think the minister has been Minister for Interior Affairs, External Affairs. I mean to say, he's been meeting with him, but and the minister has been a very good assistant to Nigerian Union. I wouldn't say assistant. I think that's a structure the minister recognizes so much in South Africa. You understand? So I've been waiting for my president to relayed back to me on the communication with the minister, but it seems the minister was extremely very busy with the trip to South Africa and in and out. So the president was not able to finalize the meeting with the minister. So it's very
Helpful has
unfortunate.
what, in your opinion, how helpful was the visit of the president of Nigeria to South Africa as far as the Nigerian Union, the Nigerians in South Africa is concerned?
Look, it's been helpful. The tension is down. It's the atmosphere. Like I arrived yesterday from the airport, even from the SA, the flight I took, the reception was fantastic. I won't lie to you. At the port of entry, everything is going well. But my fear, this has been happening. This happened 2016, the ministry, 2015, and government delegates came. But after some time, this erupted again. So what's the guarantee that this will not come up again? So for now, everywhere is fine. There's no tension. Things are going well. But like, you remember the last time I was in your studio, I still insist. I said, if we don't take responsibility to make sure that the affected victims are compensated, then I don't think the South African government will sit tight and, likelihood that they might allow this to reoccur again. My fear is that what's the guarantee that this will not occur again? So that's just the issue. So I think my advice and my opinion is that Nigerians in South Africa, we need to be united. I'm not worried about associations. There's freedom of association in terms of the constitution. We have different structures in South Africa, different structures. Let all the structures come together under the umbrella of Nigerian Union, and let's work together to fight one common cause. We have a common cause now. We can't be divided amongst ourselves. It's very disheartening. It's not right. People can't come in and sow divisions amongst ourselves. It's not fair. It's really not fair, Chamberlain. I've been here for almost 20 years.
Help me understand that, Mr. Ogboro. What are you talking about? You said there is division between Nigerians in South Africa?
The structures. Yes, there's divisions amongst ourselves. There's divisions amongst ourselves. It's glaring, it's clear. There's divisions.
In which ways are they? How is this division? Explain, please.
In simple terms, the umbrella of all the association in Nigeria, in South Africa, is the Nigerian Union. Nigerian Union is the umbrella of all the structures in South Africa. All other structures are under Nigerian Union. That's a recognized structure where every other structures will liaise with to probably address issues like this. But surprisingly, other structures are cropping up, coming up. We don't have a problem about associations. There's freedom associations, we can come up. But the fact is, if an association that is existing now or the present missions are recognizing without Nigerian Union, is that fair? Is that right? That's not right. You understand? That's not right. So I feel that we need to call a spade a spade. There's just a breakdown in communication in South Africa. We should all work together. Because, Chamberlain, I'm putting up the structure where Nigerian Union, we're working on a contingency basis. No one is paying us. We have no source of fund from anywhere. We are funding ourselves for the love we have for Nigerians. We're coming together to fight together to put an end to this.
Okay, if you understand your point, I mean, you want all the groups to come together because the president did meet with some Nigerians in South Africa, but you're saying that you would rather have had a more expanded meeting because, I mean, clearly everybody can't be in that meeting.
Yeah, Chamberlain, we can't blame the president or the dignitaries. They are not on ground. They don't know what is happening. You obviously, they presented the few groups and they failed to give room to the affected, Nigerians that were represented in that meeting. They felt very, very that, look, they were happy. The president was coming, the ministers were coming. They wanted to hear their side of the story. Then they will now advise. They will now say, okay, this is how we have to go about this legally. We put our heads together, work as a team, and we move on. But people are coming to sow divisions amongst ourselves. People are just coming to
all right, Mr. Ogboro, assuming without conceding, that's the case, but some at least the meeting held, there were some the fallout of that meeting. For instance, you've talked about the environment, which is good, but you also would like some guarantees. But I guess it's only time that can tell when it has to do with that particular one. But speak a little more on some of the other outcome of that meeting, the 10-year visa that will be applied to Nigerians and South African businessmen and regular travelers. That is some sort of guarantee, don't you think?
Yeah, but hence I said earlier on that the South African government as well too are saying that they need to probably relax their immigration law. You understand? Because you see, if they don't do that, investors will affect it's affecting investors to come into South Africa. You understand? So the 10 years, it's a good move strategically on the South African end. But now, if you look at that legally, it's saying to you that you must have been a frequent traveler to South Africa, and you're bringing money into South Africa to invest, which in terms of the law now is about 5 million rand, for you to invest as a business person in South Africa, But now, what happens to ordinary Nigerians that want to migrate due to economic circumstances back home? You understand? So it's fine. It's a good one, but the other way around, it's
But
still
Mr. Burrow, he says
few.
the statement that was released by Mr. Shehu says it will be issued to businessmen, academics, and frequent travelers.
Yes, that's what I said. Academics, those are scarce skills. Obviously,
Businessmen.
Yes, and academics is going to be scarce skills. So what? No, Chamberlain. Okay, how about ordinary Nigerians that want to migrate? That doesn't have anything to do on economic grounds.
Well, that doesn't mean they'll be excluded, does it? This was specific. It doesn't mean that they will equally be excluded. They won't.
No, but that's specific. They categorically is saying that it's categorically stated that frequent travelers, businessmen, scarce skills. You understand? But I can't fault the South African government for that. That's a good move strategically. You understand? But now, my issue, we shouldn't move away from the major problem in South Africa, the issue of the xenophobia. How do we stop? How do we take care of the affected victims that have been affected? You understand? These affected victims are sitting now with Nigerian Union. They're making this our issue, Nigerian Union. And we are saying to them that, look, guys, Nigerian Union was not given the opportunity to address the dignitaries that came. We were given the opportunities, reason best known to them. You understand? This is a structure that has been existing for years, almost a decade. A structure that is planted in all the provinces in South Africa. So why can't we give, proper representation? That's our major issue.
All right, well, let's go to break. We'll come back and see how do we leverage, what steps should we take such that we can properly harness or take advantage of this binational commissions agreement. Join us again. Welcome back. Let's wind down now. Mr. Guru, tell us, yes, the binational commission, they had the meeting, the outcome of that meeting reflecting in some parts of SA, maybe Nigeria, but how do we reconcile that, or how do we handle the question of compensation vis-a-vis the outcome of this binational commission?
Okay. The simple way is just engagement. We just want to engage the committee, like you alluded earlier on, that there's a committee. I think we just want to end some year. We want to engage if at all there's a committee, we want to engage the committee, then we will take it up from there to see how we follow up with the legal litigation, because that has to really be taken care of. Because
are you going to leave it to the government now? Because the last time you suggested you were going to take certain action, but now Are you leaving it to the government, trusting them to do what they need to do to sort it out at that level?
No, you know, I want to be sure about that committee. We want to investigate and see, you know, so that we can still get a direction, you know. If not, we will still stand our ground to go to sue the state, you know, because there's no choice. We just have to sue the state. That's the only way we can get the compensation. Because if the government is the Nigerian government that will jointly compensate the affected victims, which I doubt is not possible. You understand? Because the atrocity and the crime was committed here in South Africa. So I don't think we still relenting on that. We will follow up, but don't forget now. Let's take this into cognizance that now there's a diplomatic relation now, a proper diplomatic relation with both countries, and we need to be guided as well to say, okay, do we have to proceed with the legal litigation, or do we sit to engage the committee that has been set up for the people to be compensated?
All right.
You know, most times there's no need for us to probably go to court.
Okay.
There could be earlier compensation along the line.
Mr. Ogboro, on a final note, you know, aside compensation, what other area do you want the Nigerian government to, you know, focus on, especially for Nigerians in South Africa, aside compensation?
Look, we need proper protection. You understand? We need proper protection. The SAPS, the government, the intelligence should act swiftly. You saw what happened in Nigeria. You saw how Nigerian police acted swiftly to stop the menace that Nigeria wanted to commit in the structures of South Africa in Nigeria. So we need proper. Our citizens in Nigeria should be properly protected. I'm not condoling that the Nigerians are doing crime. There's a way to fight crime, and South African government are fighting the crime. They are dealing with Nigerians that are committing crimes. You know, so I think what we need now is, if there's any form of service delivery protest in South Africa, the SAPS should quickly, and the intelligence agency should deploy their officers on the street to protect Nigerian businesses, protect Nigerians in particular. Then we can say foreigners. So that's what we need. So those are the things we wanted to engage the government for. We need protection. It's not, we are not going to totally condemn the frustration of the South Africans.
All right then, Mr. Morige Ogboro, head of legal desk of the Nigerian Union in South Africa. Thank you for your time this morning. Well, there you go. That is the show today. We thank you all for watching. We'll see you again here tomorrow. I'm Chamberlain.
I am Kayode Okikelu.
And I'm Ayo Makinde. Have a wonderful day.
The views and opinions expressed by guests on this program are those of the maker and do not reflect the views, opinions, and endorsement of Channels Television.